Hello viewers and welcome back. This video is going to be lessons learned from Hurricane Helene, ham radio, backup power, and planning for emergencies you wouldn't normally think of. Hurricane Helene, lessons learned. Let's get into it. As most of you are aware, Hurricane Helene had come up from the Florida coast. You'll have to forgive my geography. I am Canadian. Hurricane Helene came up from the Florida coast and made its way as far north as eastern Tennessee, western it'll come to me, but northwestern Carolina, eastern Tennessee, and it caused tremendous damage. The things to review in hindsight and remember with Hurricane Helene is, one, everybody was completely unprepared. Almost everybody. And why were people unprepared? Because Hurricane Helene was completely unforeseeable and completely unprecedented in the region. There's no historical data to suggest hurricanes show up and hang out and cause the damage they do in the Appalachian Mountains. It's the most unexpected thing ever for that region. That's one. Two, the damage was incredibly widespread, covering hundreds of square miles, if not thousands of square miles. Many cities, many towns, many counties and small municipalities, and just little homesteading communities and farming communities. And, it really got a lot of different towns. And when it did, it removed all of your amenities. Whether your house was standing or not, it removed all of your amenities, including all of your communication. Ham radio has been absolutely essential. It has been saving lives. Ham radio operators, from what I understand, have really snapped to put our hobby and our skills into good practice and to try and get as much logistic coordination and communication as we can. Ham radio operators have been there since just after the storm. They continue to relay important information today. I have heard some reports about a few ham radio operators that were not relaying emergency information because the person sending the information did not have a call sign, and they felt to themselves the emergency is all wrapped up. On a personal note, I don't support that idea at all. As a radio operator, making communications to save lives is the bulk of why we do what we do. Being attracted to the hobby is the other half. In this video, I'm going to talk a bit about Hurricane Helene and some lessons learned. Full disclosure, I'm going to be vague but honest with some stuff. Other stuff I'll be a little more in detailed with, but honest as well. So let's get into it. The tragedy is the hurricane had come by, and unfortunate people are being found as high as 30 feet in trees in a lot of places. There's a lot of individuals that they were in the middle of the storm. They did the best they could, and it wasn't going to be good enough. That's a reality to learn, and it's a hard reality because no matter what you have for preparedness, ham radio or home solar backup or big food storage or, whatever your preparedness is, if Mother Nature picks it all off the ground and yard sales it throughout the entire county, never mind the community, and what it doesn't yard sale, it buries under mudslides, it's a grim reality, it's a hard reality, and you really can't prepare for that other than to be aware these storms are on the way and to make plans to not be there. We all knew Hurricane Helene was a mean one. Not being anywhere near its path until it simmers down, it sometimes is the best way to go. For preppers, they long argue bug in, bug out, stand your ground. I'm going to argue if Hurricane Helene is going to yard sale your home and everything in it, it's not going to matter what brand of security system you have or how many rounds are in the magazine of your security system. It's just not going to help. You need to not be there, which comes to the bug out. Have a plan, have a quick go kit. It doesn't have to be anything crazy. The backpack you would normally take camping, an extra change of clothes you can grab quick. You're saving your life, not your stuff. You just grab a few things to make you a little more comfortable and be gone. Come back when it's over. For the people who can't get out and happen to be far enough outside the most tragic of the disaster zone, you get to keep your house, but all of your amenities are gone. You have no cell phone, you have no internet, you have no electricity for your refrigerator or anything else. That's what you can prepare for. You can have easy to cook, low maintenance, long lasting food on hand instead of going to the grocery store as often. You can get yourself a little bit of solar, and it doesn't take much. You'll be able to back up your fridge or your freezer so that your meat doesn't spoil. Maybe you're not doing your washer and dryer. Maybe you're not vacuuming the floor and running the oven. But if you have a few tanks of propane and a barbecue, you have a little bit of solar. It doesn't have to be much, because how much are you going to use? In this day and age, a lot of flashlights run off this 18650 cell. These are very cheap. They'll run your flashlight for quite a while. It can be charged 4 at a time in a very cheap charger with, just USB plug-in. You could even plug it straight into here, and then you've got up to 4 batteries charging for when the sun goes down for your cheap flashlights. It's little things like this that will make a bit of a difference. When it comes to solar, it all has to do with your personal preference, as well as what you're looking to get out of it and how much money you're looking to put in it. My entire solar system, as it stands today, you could replace the entire thing for around $5,000 Canadian. So I don't have huge money into it. What has cost me the money over the years is all of the stuff I've bought and decommissioned after testing and before I've upgraded. That charge controller is the third one I have. That power inverter is the third one I have. I have bought all kinds of equipment. My battery bank, I'm on its 4th iteration. Doing your research, which can be done for the cost of your time and a little internet now, and understanding the differences and what you can and can't expect in solar accommodations will make a world of difference and save you a lot of money in the long run. With solar, the common ways to go is 12, 24, and 48. If you're trying to back up your entire home, you want 48 volt, nothing less. Anything less than that is just not going to give you what you're looking for. This system is 12 volts because I'm not looking to back up my own home. I'm just looking to back up a few vital systems, and where I've chosen to put my money is not into a 48 volt system, but it's into a substantial battery bank and charging capacity on a 12 volt system. I don't really need the 48 volt because of the loads that I will be running. However, I want my loads to run indefinitely without interruption, regardless of weather conditions. If it's going to be cloudy for 3-4 weeks, I just don't care. I want it to work. When it comes to solar, there's a couple of ways you can look at it. You can look at one big system to power everything, or you can understand what it is you want to power and maybe build smaller systems that all run independently of each other to power individual needs. That way, if one system fails, it's not everything. It's just one system. And if you over-design your systems, you can steal a little from one system to help another one get through when need be. I've designed this system where stealing from another just won't be necessary for what I ask of it. It even has a little more that I can make it give when I need. Primarily, aside from fridge, freezer, and one or two little extras, its job is to power this communication. One of the lessons we've learned in Hurricane Helene is that the primary concern of importance has become potable drinking water. The secondary has become communication. And then food and shelter came after that. Many people with very, very inexpensive and cheap Bofeng radios have been able to do wonders for their community simply by being able to get distress messages to control, so that volunteers on the outside know where you are, know what your needs are, and can begin putting together a plan to get your needs met. Now, for a part of the conversation that I didn't want to have, as much as there has been some very, very great response, awesome response, the civilians, the people, the community, they have really come together in full power. They have moved millions of dollars worth of donations, all volunteered and trucked in and gathered and dispersed. There's a disaster relief charity called Grindstone Ministries. They have managed to do airdrop after airdrop after airdrop into areas they can't get anywhere else. There are the good old boys on their quads, dirt bikes, and side-by-sides loading up what they can, driving through roads that are washed out, destroyed, and otherwise impassable, trying to get supplies out to desperately needed people. On the other hand, you have the tax-paid agencies, and I have heard no shortage of content creators who have been there, who have been volunteering. They've been on chainsaw crews, they've been on delivery crews, they have been private helicopter pilots trying to rescue people, they have been truck drivers. They do not have anything good to say about the lettered agencies or the tax-paid help. It would appear help is not coming. Expect to self-rescue. That's just a reality, and it is a hard reality. Now, on the other hand, there's civilians. They're still there today. They're doing everything they can. They have a lot of roadblocks from what I've been hearing, and I will reserve my opinion and comment. But the lesson to learn is be ready, be prepared, expect the unexpected, and expect to self-rescue. Nobody is coming. When the weather gets bad and it takes everything you've bought, everything you've stored, and everything you've prepared for, if you are still alive, the one thing it never took from you, because it can't take it from you, is your mental motivation, the knowledge and skills in which you have trained for years in order to better yourself in all kinds of environments. Rather you're a darn good carpenter or a very creative bushman or just a guy with string and some tarp that knows how to light a fire and make a hobo soup. These are valuable life-saving survival skills. They take next to nothing to learn, and they don't go missing when the wind blows. Everything else may let you down. Your survival skills will always be there. The way I like to explain it is, if you wake up to a severe house fire and have to leave your house naked in the middle of winter at 2 o'clock in the morning, how are you going to do? You've lost everything in your life except what's between your ears and your family. So you've lost nothing you can't buy back. Maybe the memorabilia from memories you'll never forget because it was that important. You've lost nothing you can't buy back. Now your knowledge is what's going to get you through so that you don't lose after you've already lost. I've heard stories of roads being arbitrarily closed to public, airspace being arbitrarily closed to public, false promises made, donations being seized, just all. It would seem that there's a concerted effort to hinder rescue and maximize damage, it would seem. But I'll digress from there because I'm not on the ground and I can only go off of what a large number of independent individuals have been commenting on. And nevertheless, with radio, with ham radio, it's a good thing to have because it is a life-saving tool. It's only as good as your capacity to operate it. You need to know the frequencies, you need to know the modes of communication, the methods of communication, how to make an antenna if yours is down. For instance, if the weather comes and takes out the antenna I use for this radio, I'm really not worried about that. It doesn't bug me at all. Because I built the antenna sitting there, I'll just make another and put it up after the storm and get right back to ham radio. It didn't destroy my store-bought I can't figure it out. It wrecks something I built, put in play, and use every day as a base radio or a base radio antenna. If if this antenna gets destroyed, now that is a factory antenna, but I know exactly how to make a few more that'll replace it. In fact, I've made a couple. They work fine. I've shown a few in my antenna bag on this channel. Communication is incredibly vital. All logistics flows through communication. Life flows through communication. And when you lose communication, you wind up with isolation. And that's not good. We have communities for a reason. Your brothers and sisters are coming together by the thousands to volunteer chainsaws and generators and propane and gasoline and water and clothes and food and baby formula. They're coming together by the thousands for their community members, in some cases 600 to 800 miles away from where they live, for a reason. Communication is how you stay connected to community. And we have our community for a reason. Aside from that, I think I'll just cut it here. Thank you very much for watching and listening to some of my thoughts and opinions on the hurricane. Thank you. If you're watching this shortly after posting, relief efforts, rescue and recovery efforts are still going on. It's been over a month. There's a charity that's involved called Grindstone Ministries. The CEO can be found on YouTube under Bear Independent. I highly recommend you watch a few of his videos, doing your own research as to who he is and what he's doing. He's the CEO of Grindstone Ministries. I believe this is their 46th deployment into a disaster zone in, I think, 5 or 6 years. Consider a donation if you can. He does not take government money, and in his words, when you take federal money, you get federal problems. He wants to run a tighter operation than that, so his donations come just from the public. And Grindstone Ministries is not the only company this man operates. I'd recommend doing your own research, but if it's right for you and you want to help out Grindstone Ministries, go to their website and do all the research you can. They'll help you get all squared away. It would be so appreciated. There are so many people that for them it's still going on. They still don't have heat, hot water, electricity, communications, proper food. They're in a bad shape, and they do need our help. And these are our local boys, our local girls. So if you can, please reach out to Grindstone Ministries. On their website, they'll tell you the best way to volunteer if you can, or the best way to support if you can. I don't have any communication with them. They're just somebody I happen to know about. They have no idea who I am. Don't even tell them I sent you. Just do it on your own and leave me out of it. But if you can, it would be so appreciated. Thank you so much for watching. Have a great night.